I am Adam Sowers, your dungeon master and host, and with me is still a bunch of people that I've tricked into playing games with me, and they are still here despite what happened last time. So please, can you tell the audience who you are?
Sure. I'm Caleb James Miller. I'm playing Dull Ozon today, and I am not going to let Adam get away with this.
Never!
I'm VJ Stonecraft. I'm playing Theophania, and I've got a bone to pick with you.
Oh my god.
I'm Sarah L. Kinney. I am playing Winnie Chandler, and I've got a ball of ooze.
And I am Carrie Smith. I am playing Vetra, and I am ready to rage.
Hell yes. And with all of that said, let's get into the adventure. You feel the cold stone beneath your feet. You smell incense. You hear the flickering of candles and the fluttering of robes nearby. And as you open your eyes, you are inside of an underground temple. Deep beneath in the belly of the city of Darameade, which sits on a river. You are in the sewers in a place called the Undercroft, in a temple in the sewers called the Soul Sanctum. It's a normal church. The only thing you could the only way you could tell that you're underground is because there's no light coming in, but there's several hundreds of candles in this place. It's made out of like a little wood and high voltage ceilings, things like that, and you are in a reception area just before you get to like the pews and all of the little thing at the front, the pulpit, but it's a very blank stone ground reception area just as you entered through the doors, which shut behind you, and there's little wooden beams and about a 60-foot area, and it's a pretty empty church, except there's 4 and 4 on each side, these priests, these lizard folk priests that all have bowl haircuts in habits, and their hands are sort of hidden monk style as they're looking at you all suspiciously as these 4 heroes enter in. And about 60 feet away from you, where all the pews are standing, there is the man that you're looking for, the elf man named Krennic. He is a very severe-looking elf. He has a very high arched eyebrows. He has a high widow's peak. He is an elf, so I'm going to be putting on elf ears. And he looks down at you, down his nose, and he says, "Ah, yes. The Knights of Nemeria and friend. You are back again. And I know exactly what you are doing here. I got a little bit of a tip-off, and I won't let you ruin my life again." And he nods, and one of the lizard folks pulls a banister that they were holding, and the floor drops beneath all of you. And could you all please, as you are falling through the air into darkness, could you please introduce and describe your characters, and also what they are feeling at this moment?
Dull is a 6'5", 6'6" half orc, dressed in very resplendent robes or rich doublet, basically, with this fur-lined collar, a lot of intricate, very richly made leathers. Currently, he's feeling gravity at a rapid pace, and he's just confused and trying to occupy everything that the very dramatic elf just said in his mind. He's also readying his forearm, basically pulling back the sleeve at his right for whatever is going to happen when we fall.
Theo is, if she weren't potentially falling to her death, I think she would think this is the coolest place that she's ever been in her entire life. But she is possibly falling to her death. So at the moment, this little half elf like 5'5". She's like searching through her pockets and through her bag of bones, hoping she'll find something that will allow her to not be crushed to death if she keeps falling.
Falling beside her companions is a young woman by the name of Winnie Chandler, wearing just absolutely stunningly maintained plate mail armor, but that's been made out of dragon scales. And the thing she feels as she falls is regret, because she knows the spell Featherfall, but she didn't prepare it this morning. So instead, as she feels the floor drop out under her feet, Winnie begins to pluck at threads of light from the sky and kind of weave them together, and is preparing to cast a different spell, not as good, but somewhat okay, before they hit the ground.
Vetra is her hair is probably a little kind of messed up just from the long day that we've had, but it is pulled back into various different like Viking style braids, some leathers and different like hide work on like a shoulder pad. As uh as she is falling, what I would like to attempt, almost like nosedive down like a skydiver in a sense, and get my shield to try to brace, try to stop some of this impact. And I know they'll land on me, but maybe the shield will help. I don't know.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So I'll say everyone give me dex saving throws real quick, and we'll see how y'all can do.
And can Winnie's spell proc at this time? Or is Winnie able to cast a spell as she falls?
I think like if you succeed at the dex saving throw, then you have time to do something before you hit the ground.
15?
I have a dirty 20.
18.
I have a 12.
Okay, so unfortunately, Chandler and Vetra failed at this. Dole and Theo, you succeed at being able to like maybe do one thing before you hit the ground. Doesn't seem like you're falling very far, actually. So anything that you would like to do, Dole or Theo, before you hit the ground?
You know what? I just want to brace myself and see if I can assist Vetra in like falling to the bottom of the pile so that I can at least help the others coming down. But outside of that, no, I'm just waiting for the ground.
Okay. So let's say that with you assisting Vetra, you'll both just take half of the damage. Theo, anything you'd like to do while you're falling through the air?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bone out of my pouch, and I'm gonna try and use my my tales from beyond, and hope it doesn't fuck me over. When you're a College of Spirits bard, you get to reach out to spirits who tell their tales through you, but you need some kind of object or set of objects to kind of channel that magic and that energy through. And Theo, being who she is, likes to use her bones to do that. So each bone has a different story to tell, but she's a little bit chaotic or a little bit unorganized. So she hasn't labeled them in any way. So she never really knows exactly what she's going to get or what tale is going to be told through her.
Awesome.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
Theo grabs a bone from the bag, and she's so convinced that this is the one that's going to allow her to teleport to the ground and take her friends with her, which is what I was really hoping I was going to get. But instead, that isn't the story that comes to Theo's mind. The story that comes to Theo's mind is just a big dragon flying through the sky. And before Theo's able to stop herself, she just starts spitting fire from her mouth. And everybody needs to make a dexterity saving throw. They have to beat an 11.
Okay.
Winnie fails.
I got a 15.
Okay.
23. So I'm good.
Okay.
So 8.
8. Okay, so that's not that bad. So Vetra and Dole take 4, and Chandler, you take the full 8, and you also take 4 damage from falling. Everyone else takes 2. So a lot of damage coming in Winnie right away, unfortunately.
Winnie takes it on the chin, or rather, she doesn't seem to take any damage at all. In the moment, it's kind of, she tries to weave these threads together, thinking maybe she can cast Bless on everyone who's falling, but that doesn't pan out because first she's fending off fire from the side, and then the floor comes before she can realize it. But these gold threads, instead of manifesting as that bless spell, instead they kind of weave around her, and we see a shield pop up on one side of her body and then a shield on the other. It's this beautiful glowing light that flickers like 100 candles are around her, and it absorbs this damage. So Winnie walks away looking unscathed, but that firelight that manifested around her was very bright when it first showed up, and now it's quite a bit duller. This is Winnie's abjuration shield. So every morning, Winnie starts her day by casting a series of spells to kind of get her mind and get her body ready for the day. And it manifests this kind of incorporeal shield around her body that comes to aid whenever she needs it.
Awesome. Cool. So in the few seconds it takes to fall, we see just this like 30 by 30 circle just boom drops, and you all like cartoon style fall. And right before you hit the ground, we just see a bunch of flame. Like the camera's outside of the pit, and we just see flames come up outside of the pit as you all hit the ground inside of the pit. And then we cut to inside of the pit, which is very dark. It is pitch black down here, but as VJ with your fire, as you all like hit the ground and a bunch of fire came out, it briefly illuminated the room. So I would say that everyone can make a perception real quick.
19.
Okay.
I have a 12.
11.
9.
Everyone else, you see the general shape of the room. It is a circular room, 30 by 30 pit. It is only 30 feet deep, so you didn't fall very far. And it is like smooth walls around. It seems like concrete or stone, and on the ground it kind of seems like a little bit of sand or mixed with like other stone. In the center of the room, there is a little drain that seems to lead down into the sewers. It's probably about 5 feet big, this drain, and it has a grate over it. There is everyone else. It looks like there was a bunch of people in here standing very still. And there seems to be piles on the 2 piles, one on let's say if it was like northeast, southwest, one on the western and one on the eastern, one on the western side. These piles, it looks like rubble of something. And you can see now that you've just fallen to the ground. It briefly illuminated a net, went over the top of the hole, just a rope net, and you see all of these monk lizards and Krennic looking down into the hole. But Winnie, you notice a shape on the side of the room in one of those piles that it's something that was coiled up, and it looked like you noticed it because everything else in here is like stone, sort of gray. This thing looked like a scaly green color, and it looked like it sort of moved to look at the group before the light goes out. And you also notice that all of these figures that are standing in here, everyone else is like, oh, people standing still. These are statues. And you notice that in a fraction of a second as the light goes out again, and everyone who I guess is not dull, I don't think has dark vision, so everyone else is just like sort of blinded by darkness right now as you just fall into the ground.
Is everybody okay?
We're gonna be less okay in a moment. Krennic, are you seriously still doing this shit? And
I know why you are here. You have been sent to kill me, to frame me for something that I have not done.
If you had maybe let us talk to you for like 30 seconds, you would have found out maybe we wanted to ask questions first and accuse later.
I wasn't going to kill you, but I will now.
See, always the same. You heroes, just self-righteous, going about your days. Despicable. If you truly want to kill me, then perhaps my pets will have something to say about it first. Rocky and Gemma, perhaps? And you can see him standing up there through the net, illuminated by the candles above, just peering down into this pit, looking happily down at it.
As he makes that motion, Winnie, another hand will pull some threads of light from the air and then slap the shield that's hanging at her side and cast light on it.
Okay. And how much light does this give?
20 foot bright,
Off.
20 foot dim.
Okay, cool. So most of this this area is now illuminated. You can all see that these are these statues sort of hanging around, and you can see something is slithering towards you with green scales. It looks like a very large snake. And I would like everyone to roll for initiative.
I have a 16.
16, okay.
That's good.
A 6.
7.
5.
Okay. You see this giant green-scaled snake just serpentining its way towards you, and you see it opens its eyes and this purple glow coming from it, coming towards all of you. And I'm just going to roll a d4 to see who it goes towards first. It goes towards Winnie Chandler, and it's going to try to bite you. What is your AC?
18 currently.
Okay, it hits you, unfortunately. It's 12 damage coming at you. We got 7 piercing with poison damage. So you see this giant snake just raise up, and it just rakes across you as it bites into your armor, just sort of like scraping across it. It doesn't quite puncture your skin yet, but it rakes this 2 lines across you as it attacks, as it's looking at you with its glowing purple eye.
The light from that ward that had surrounded her body blinks out. The kind of threads and wisps of it are still there, but it's kind of seems to be devoid of power now.
Cool. So as it bites you, the light's starting to flicker. I will need everyone. I'm assuming everyone is looking at this thing. I will need everyone to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Natural 20.
Hell
That's
yeah.
better, baby.
BB.
I have a 15.
Okay.
I have a 10.
3.
So, Dull and Vetra, you feel this this light coming from this giant green snake. It's kind of like tail lights at night. It's kind of wisping off. You see this glow, and it like is pulling you towards its eyes, but you look away just in time. But Winnie and Theo, the light in its eyes seems to call you home for a second, and you feel some sort of effect starting to take place, and it feels like it's harder to move at the moment. And you look down, and just the end of your extremities are slowly starting to turn to stone, but not quite all the way yet, but it is starting to happen. And yes, that is that's that creature's turn. And Vetra, just in time, as you look away, you duck, and a second snake slices right over the top of your head. It is a gray color. You all didn't see it because it was blending in with the rest of the stones, but there are 2 in here. And you hear from above Krennic laughing, just... Now that you have met my pets, perhaps you have rethought your current course of action.
Do I get the same sense from the second one? Like the same kind of gaze?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
As you like duck, you see the fangs go over, and you see a little light trail coming from its eyes.
I just yell, "Don't look at them!"
It is now Dol Ozan's turn. Dol, what do you do?
I think that I'm going to position myself behind the one that is currently attacking Winnie. With its attention on Winnie, it makes pretty good positioning.
There is a lot
for
of
me to-
statues around here too, so you can also
Okay.
like hide behind those for cover or something like
Beautiful.
that if you want.
Yeah. So positioning myself, I'm getting myself in a good point of view. And then, I'm going to pull out the sort of ornamental sword at my hip, get ready for an attack. But right before I do, I'm going to look in Vetra's direction and say, if you can keep this thing busy, I'll distract from the side. We go for the head. And that will count as my mastermind's help action. So Vetra will have advantage on their next attack.
Feel inspired, Vetra, from the words of Dol.
And
I just give like a super solid eye contact nod.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do like the bro nod. The fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. I feel like you're taking out your weapon, Vetra, and just like,
Oh yeah,
getting
absolutely.
ready.
Like you hear the shing.
And then I'm going to rear back with a broadsword and slash as hard as I can from the back at the snake in front of Winnie. I'm definitely averting my gaze, and I'm going to take that attack against it.
You hear Krennic say, he's like, ah yes, the green one's Gemma, the other one is Rocky, my good pets. So now you know their names. So the green one's Gemma.
I'll call out just as he's about to swipe through. Give me a few hours, they'll have no names. We have... It's a -3 to what I'm doing here. So a 19 total.
Ah, that hits.
9 points of damage from the rapier itself. And then sneak attack, because we have Winnie on the other side there. I said 9 already? Right, 16 total points of damage against this snake. He wields a broadsword from the falx, so it's definitely a slashing motion. It is like against the back of its neck, essentially. He's going for the top of the head, and he's just trying to swipe as hard as he can. He knows that with a snake, you want to take its head off. That's what he's going for.
You did a lot of damage with this, so as you go to slice, the snake turns to face you, and it goes right across its eyes. And you see the light, as it's like blood flies off of its face, its eyes close, and the light no longer comes from its eyes. And it's just... and just like recoils back with this big slice across its face.
Perfect.
Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
I think I'm just looking to the others and making it clear that this is the distraction we needed. We can take this thing out. It's this sort of battle pose. He's standing in front of it. He's looking to the others, asking them to engage.
Okay. You hear from up top with Krennic's voice as he's looking down. He's like, you all think you can come in here to kill me. Well, perhaps I shall introduce you to another guest that I have had recently. However, they do not respond to my commands as my other pets do. Unfortunately, or fortunately for you. And you see him nod again, and someone else pulls a lever. And I'll say that you hear stone moving. And a door is opening that looked like solid wall before. And inside of it, you don't see anything. But you hear something, what sounds like the popping of bones and joints. But you don't see anything come out from there. And then, give me a dex save, Winnie, real quick. You need to beat a 14.
Nat 20.
Okay, so you beat that.
It's a good time for that, for whatever this is.
The door opens, a couple of you look over, and it doesn't look like anything comes out from this door. And then Winnie, something comes from behind and slices at you 6 times with its claws, and it misses every single damn strike except for one, except for the last one, which it did crit on. But you avoided this extra damage, but it's this thing that has a really long head, no eyes, it looks like it has bat ears or something. Its jaws open, this needle-like teeth. It looks kind of like the xenomorph alien from Aliens, but it is it's more like it's spiny and stuff, but it doesn't have a tail. It's very bony and spiny and black leathery. And it has 4 arms with these really long, nasty claws. It is definitely the description of that monster that killed Mr. Cornhole. And it comes forward and slices at you, just bouncing off of your shield and your sword and your armor until this last slice where it cuts deep into you, dealing you 21 damage.
Ooh.
And it's just this flurry of blows as it attacks you, and it is going to, after that attack, try to move away and go back into the darkness.
Winnie will take a reaction if she can.
Yes, it did not disengage.
With this long sword drawn, it's got this beautiful braided golden hilt. And as she swings, Winnie kind of whispers, "All right, don't fuck this up for me now."
And this is your very nice sword, right?
This is his divine radiance.
Yes. Okay, yeah, sure. So you unsheath the sword, and he's like, "Ha ha! Here we are. Well, have at ye. Here we are. Time to dispatch some demons, eh? Well, here we are. Slash them. What sort of amazing deal or the thing that you've done today? Regale me with the tale, and I shall give you the power of the gods."
I'm going after a murderer again. Come on, just work with me. I don't have a lot of time for this right now.
Well, we must follow the procedure. You know that, Winnie.
Okay, I do respect that. This guy is hurting lots of people. We're pretty sure he turned that dude into a monster. We're trying to fight him. Come on, I need you to work with me on this one.
That doesn't sound like a great deed to me.
It's going to be a great deed if you can just cooperate with me for once.
I will say on your turn, you can use a free action to try to convince it, but for right now, it does not have those extra properties so far. For the audience, this is a sentient magic sword called his Divine Radiance. It talks, and you must do a valiant deed each day to get these extra properties, or you have to lie to it and convince it that you've done a valiant deed to get these extra fun properties that this sword has. So yes, give us that fun attack.
And so that's going to be, it would normally only be a 15 to hit. Winnie doesn't think that's going to do it. So instead, we see a couple more threads of light pull from the air. And she just whispers, "All right, fine. If you're not going to work with me, I know that you will, whoever the fuck you are." And a small amount of light kind of comes down and radiates in the sword, giving her a +10 to hit. So it'll instead be a 25.
Definitely hits.
And this is just going to be a long sword wielded with 2 hands, and she's just going to try to cut this guy in the meanest fashion, doing 11 points of damage.
Cool. Is that what type of
Slashing.
damage is that?
Slashing normal, because his divine radiance is not cooperating right now.
I think like it still
it
does
is
the
magic.
radiant damage. It's just like it doesn't do the extra abilities on the description. There's like the lower abilities, so it normally does the normal damage. Just those extra things it doesn't do.
You are correct. Thank you. So instead, actually, it's a D12 rolled versatile. So that's, okay. So it's actually going to be a 12 plus 2 is 16 points of magic damage.
Dang.
2 of which are radiant. Gosh, thank you.
How are you swinging this? Are you thrusting? What are you doing?
Winnie is trying to kind of keep her eyes closed as much as possible. So she felt that flurry of blows, and I think has a pretty good sense of where the attacker is located based off of all of those just missed attempts. And she goes in with just a very wide, almost clumsy swing, expecting the reach and the weight of the sword to do its work.
Awesome. So you slice horizontally across, and it cuts directly on this emaciated-looking thing's bony, like, stomach, and it cuts very deep. And you actually see, because like the radiant light kind of comes off of it, and you see it go as you slice into it, and you see it seems to burn more, or it seems to like really not like this as it stumbles back. And you also see somewhere on its shoulder a wound, a wound from somewhere else, not something that you have dealt. Like it was dealt a previous wound or something, and it sort of scrambles back. And Theo, you don't know how you know this, but you can feel that this thing is afraid. Just you. For some reason, now that this thing is here in the room, you can kind of feel its feelings. It's afraid of that sword, and it's afraid of something else. And so then basically you slice, that all happens in a quick moment, and the thing descends back into darkness. I asked this already a million times. Who has the highest passive perception?
It's not
I
me.
think Winnie. I think we all have 10 and Winnie has 12.
Yeah.
And so does Dole.
Oh,
Okay.
it is us.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
So
Not a very perceptive group.
Winnie and Dole, you are the only ones that can still see this creature as it descends back into the darkness. Everyone else, you cannot see where it is. It didn't roll very good with stealth, but it is hidden from at least two of you. And you can also see that now that this thing is in the room and attacked, those snakes kind of recoil a little bit away from that thing. They don't seem to like each other. And with all of that said, with this creature's turn, we will go to Winnie's turn.
All right, Pete, I'm sorry. Don't attack us again. And Winnie's going to whip around, and in her head, she then addresses his divine radiance. I helped a bunch of people in the market. A bunch of them would have been set on fire if it wasn't for me. That was very heroic. I need you to work with me.
He's gonna roll a d6 to see if that's a valiant enough deed.
That checks out, yeah.
That does not seem as a valiant enough deed. Anything else, perhaps? You can try to lie to this sword if you'd like. You'll have to roll for it.
There was also a man who was setting the fires, and he was going to murder a young woman who was about to get married, and then I stopped him, and he's in prison now.
Give me a deception, please. What is the DC that you have to beat? It's on the item.
It is a DC 14 check to convince the sword that she's done something heroic enough. A 18 minus 1, 17.
All right, so his divine radiance is sort of quiet for a second. Of course! A valiant deed deserving of valiant powers and weapons! And the sword glows brighter as you have regaled them with your deed for the day, and you will have access to those extra abilities.
Oh, thank God. All right. And Winnie is going to, this time whirling around, kind of continuing to carry the weight of the sword, is this time whirling into the basilisk, or this creature that's kind of in front of her. It kind of fits what she's read in fantasy novels, but she doesn't explicitly know what this thing is. That is a 15 to hit.
So are you attacking the basilisk or this other thing?
The basilisk in front of her.
Okay, cool. So that'll be a -3 if you're averting your gaze.
So that is only a 12 to hit.
Okay. Wait, are you attacking the green one or the gray one?
The
green one was the one that was dull. Oh, well
And
then you don't
the
have to
green one's
avert your
in-
gaze then, because its
perfect.
eyes have been stopped. So what was that?
A 15 total.
That will just barely hit.
Excellent. And as the blade once again crashes into the side of this creature, Winnie's body is we see blood kind of seeping out the seams of her armor. It appears she's actually doing quite poorly. Her strikes are not precise at all, especially Vetra. You would know this is not how she normally fights. The blade will erupt with divine light, and she will cast Smite from the blade, doing a total of, that is 19 points of damage. A good chunk of it is radiant.
So what does this look like when you kill this basilisk?
The sword rips into its side, blood begins to ooze out, and the tip she's able to kind of pivot it and then just plunge it directly into this creature. And when it hurls out and cries in pain, bright white light shines out of its mouth and out of the wounds that have been ripped in its body.
And it's just this light shoots out as the last blade comes out, and the blood flecks over this circular arena down here. And the poor Gemma the basilisk, boom, falls to the ground dead. Its snake body sort of twitching and coiling out as it eventually stops moving. And you hear a gasp from up above, from Krennic. He's like, Gemma.
You can stop this literally anytime.
You are here to kill me. I will not surrender. I know what happened to me last time.
No one came here to kill you, but if you keep sending down snakes, I'll make sure they die for you.
So Theo is still kind of like coughing from all the fire that she spit up accidentally. And I say, sorry about that. That was really stupid. I'm not going to try that again. But just so you know, the other creature, it's scared. I can tell that it's terrified. It's actually more terrified even than I am at the moment, which is really saying something. We can probably use that.
Theo, give me an insight real quick.
That's going to be a 9.
Okay. You don't get any more information about this feeling that you're getting, but yeah, you get that it's afraid of the weapon and it's afraid of something else that's not in this area.
Can telling my comrades that this other monster is scared, I was thinking that would be my bardic inspiration.
Yeah. Do you give that to one specific person, or is that to like?
I'm going to give that to Vetra, since she hasn't attacked anybody yet, and I'm a little worried that she's as scared as I am, even though I have no reason to believe that. It's a D8, so D8. And I got the 8. So on sometime in the next 10 minutes, you can add that 8 to an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw.
Cool. You shout that out to your companions. Is sort of dimly lit in here. You can see this gray basilisk is coiling around, has its purple eyes light, kind of looking around, and you are slowly turning to stone. What do you want to do?
I think in that case, I am going to use prestidigitation to create a small hand mirror, which I can use to see where the monster is without having to look at it.
That's awesome.
I'm going to attempt that.
Did you learn that from Chamber of Snakes?
It's a great Lockwood novel. Oh, I forgot to do this. At the end of your turn, if you are affected by the thing, you need to roll another con save.
18, fortunately.
Okay, cool. 18, you, the stone crumbles off of your fingers. You are no longer turning to stone. Theo, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm going to use my action to create that little pocket mirror, so I can kind of see around statues and that sort of thing. And if I'm still able to, I'm going to move behind one of the other statues.
Hell yeah. So you have, I'll say that that's like partial cover. So you have like I think a +2 to your AC right now.
Okay.
Yes, a +2 to your AC. If something tries to attack you. Now that it's the end of your turn, if you can roll another con save for me. You want to get a 12 or above.
That's not gonna. Oh God. No, that's a really nice 2. That's a really nice 2.
Do you have anything to give yourself a bonus to the roll or a re-roll or anything like that? I would highly recommend it.
Oh my God. I literally think I do not.
Okay.
I don't. I really don't.
So, Theo, you shout out to Vetra, just like trying to help them out, like giving them some advice. You summon this mirror. You get behind a stone to look around the with your mirror to look at the basilisk behind you, and you turn to stone.
My eyes, like I close them for a second and then I open them back up, and they're just like this glowing, almost like if you could see white and black at the same time. It's just this glowing, strange smoke that kind of just billows from my eyes as I rage.
Yeah.
I am going to rage, and I am going to look directly at this creature, and I'm going to reckless attack. I would like to just gouge its eyes out.
Okay,
With
so
my
you
sword.
are looking directly at it, you said.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just look at what it specifies on here. If a creature starts its turn. Okay, so yeah. So you will have to roll me a con save right away. You won't have a minus to this, or to your attack, since you're looking straight at it.
That is a dirty 20 for the con save.
All right, you look straight at its eyes, and this like purple glow. It's like drawing you in, and how do you like just break out of that? What is that? Or like, what are you thinking in your mind?
I think just this smoke, like it almost starts like flickering for a moment as I'm looking at the basilisk, and then there's just this moment where I close my eyes again and like crack my neck, and when I open my eyes back up, the smoke's just coming out again, and I'm just gonna lunge forward.
I think like the purple has lost its color once you like crack your neck, and you hear the snake is just kind of like looking at you, and you just charge at it.
Yeah, that's gonna be 18 to hit with just the advantage, so
Definitely hits.
12 points of damage, and then I would like to use my second action to, like, I slam down with the sword, and as soon as I pull the sword away, I want to slam with my shield. Great. That's a natural 20, baby.
Hell yeah. So with how I do the natural 20 with damages is basically whatever the full damage is, you have that, and then you just roll that damage dice again on top of it. So if it does like a D8 plus 2, then it's 10 damage automatically, and then you just roll the D8 again and add that on top of it.
Okay, so that's going to be 10 damage, and I would like to spend a charge on my shield to try to push it.
Okay, yeah.
Which automatically deals another D8. Is that D8 crit as well?
You know what? Hell yeah, because we reward natural 20s, y'all. Hell yes.
Great, so that's 10 bludgeoning damage, 10 force damage, and it has to make a dexterity saving throw.
God bless.
Okay. What does it need to beat?
15.
What's its bonus to? Oh, it is a -1. Okay, so it fails that.
Great, so then it's pushed back 15 feet where I choose.
The amount of damage you're doing to this thing is enough to kill it.
Yeah, I'm just staring it directly in the eyes, and I just take like 2 strides forward, and I just put the sword directly like through its eye, twist it, pull it out, and as soon as I do, I just like crouch down, basically like on one knee,
like
and then
lunges over you.
slam the shield up so that it just flies off. up
and
into
when
the air.
everyone sees the shield connect, this is not a normal shield hit. You see almost like a blue outline of the shield, boom, just sort of boom out as the snake flies up into the air, its bones broken, and its lifeless body as it sort of like floats up into the air, and we see a shot of Krennic's face. He's like, Rocky, and as it lands onto the ground again, dead. And Krennic sort of falls to his knees up on top and is openly weeping. As this basilisk lies dead as the light seeps out from its eyes. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I think
Carrie?
that's it. I'm pretty satisfied.
Amazing. So we go back to the top of the round. That was one round, people. One round. The snakes are dead, so they do not have any more initiative. Then it is to Dull. To Dull. Dull, you do not see this other creature. You'd have to make a perception check to see it hidden. I think the only people that see it... Oh, no, it was you. Dull and Winnie are the only people that can see where this other creature are. And you also notice Theo is stone. You don't hear from her anymore.
I'm gonna call up to Krennic on the top. Okay, Krennic, we've killed them both. It doesn't have to go any further. This doesn't have to... I don't have to kill anything else of yours. We only wish to speak. And if you wouldn't have it that way, then we'd be happy to end things. We would be happy to end everything you have. Or you can come to your senses. You can realize we came for parley and meant no harm towards you until you trapped us. We can find out what's happening. You can call off your dogs, and we can find out why it is you have the monster that caused all this. Or I could just let Vetra go. And you've seen what Vetra can do. This is when she's restrained.
Give me 2 rolls. I'd like a persuasion and an intimidation.
Woogie.
Yes.
All right.
I'll say you get... no, actually, you don't need pluses to anything because you're crazy. So I won't give you anything.
What does that mean? What do you mean crazy? 26. It's not that bad.
Oh my god. Okay,
That's
so that was
for
the...
persuasion.
Persuasion.
And now intimidation, which is a little worse. It's only a +6, guys. Which is a 25. God bless. God bless America. Happy 4th of July for your troops.
God bless Darameade. So, saying these things to Krennic, you see him, he looked confused, because you can tell that he was pretty convinced that you all were there to kill him and to blame him. Whatever information he got convinced him of that. And he's like... already killed my pets. But I guess... Fine. And he stands up. He's like... We can talk. However, I do not control that monster. So... whatever you do with that is, I guess, up to you. I will not lower down any ropes until that thing is dealt with. It's crazy. You don't mess with a deep stalker. And, but yeah, he's like, he sort of turns towards the basilisk. He's like, if my pets were still alive, I would have called them off, but... And he turns around, just walking out of sight, basically. But you can still see the 8 monks, lizard monks, are sort of like looking towards each other, and they're like, oh, Jesus, is he all right? He doesn't look very good. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad for tomorrow. You hear all of that coming from up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that end out my turn, or can I still take a pot shot?
I
at
think
this
that would be a bonus action, so you can totally still do stuff.
Okay, cool. In that case, I'm going to take out the Widow's Fang. So I
What does that look
sling
like?
the broadsword back into its sheath. I pull back the forearm. and that tattoo on his right side of the skull-faced widow. He basically like uses a long thumbnail to cut along his palm until blood draws, and then slides it across the tattoo itself. And climbing up out of the skin itself is this mechanical, almost metal apparatus that looks exactly like a Black Widow spider, that is big enough to dominate the whole of his hand. Sits out like a wrist apparatus, like a gauntlet almost. And from within the center of those two widow's fangs sits a small point of a metal syringe with a very sharp tip. He's going to turn, lock his forearm in the direction of that shadowy beast in the corner there, and take a shot. Oh my god. I have a 24 to hit. So it'll do 6 + 3, which is 9 in total, and it needs to make a 15 con save.
It's a 12. So it does not make it. Yeah.
So on top of the 9, as the syringe fires out of the fangs of the spider, it launches through, and this sickly glowing green acid inside of the vial itself flies through the air and connects with this creature. And as it does, on top of the 9 it's already taken, it's going to take 25 additional damage. So a total of 34 damage, 9 traditional, and 25 poison, as the acid begins to seep through the body. And you can see anywhere that it hits, it starts to drift along veins, and you can see the veins start to bulge out and blacken, and as the poison takes over the body.
So yeah, it launches across, the vial breaks it, the bolt flies, sticks through it, and you see is it poison or is it acid?
It's poison.
Poison. You see the poison goes inside of it, and it like flinches because it got hit, but it doesn't look like it was as damaged as it should have been.
Right.
It goes like, but it still looks like it's moving around, but it's looking pretty injured so far.
Knowing that I'm the one that shot it, I will take my opportunity in response to that hiss to move 30 feet farther away, just as far away to the back of the wall as possible.
Yeah, because I would say you guys were in the middle of the room when you fell, so like 30 that way, 30 that way.
I am cowering 15 feet to the edge of the circle, basically.
Cool. Awesome. So let's run over there. And next turn, which is the Deep Stalker, which is what Krennic called this thing. And it's going to see if it can. It's going to run up to you, Winnie. You do see it though, so it does not have this little sneak attack thing. And it's going to try to attack you again. What's your AC currently?
It's going to be a 23.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Well,
Winnie sees this thing coming up towards her, and she just throws her hand up, the one that perhaps if she had been smarter and equipped her physical shield, it'd be strapped there. But instead, we see her once again grab more strands of light from the air, and it manifests a magical shield on her arm.
Awesome. And as this magical shield, just boom, boom, the two attacks that it comes at you, and we're going to do a little contest real quick. I would like you to roll dexterity, and it's going to roll dexterity as well. 18? It got a 20, a dirty 20. So as it's slicing at you, its other two hands are kind of coming up, and it's trying to grab. And where did you keep your little ooze ball?
The ooze ball is tied to one of her hips, so it's kind of right at hip level for this guy.
It just yoinks it. As soon as you're like trying to block its blows, and then you don't quite notice it just grabs that, and then it's going to again try to run away, not disengage, and it looks like it's running towards the center of the room. So this thing runs towards the center of the room, and it goes towards that drain, and you see it's like trying to move its arms through the drain, and you start to see like It's like popping, and it's like starting to like weird. It's trying to crawl through these really tiny holes, and it is achieving the job, but it is not through yet. Do you think it will get all the way through at the end of its next turn?
Oh shit, y'all! Don't let it get away. And Winnie, kind of sheathing her sword in kind of a fluid motion, will then sweep her other hand out, and then she'll blow, and these little flecks of golden dust kind of move across the room towards the creature. She is casting Sleep as a 3rd level spell.
Oh, buzz. Okay.
39 total points of sleep.
Go to sleep, Adam.
So you send these little sparkles at it, and you see it starts to little sparkles land on it. It's kind of like looking around as it's like trying to move its arms underneath into this thing. It like looks around, well, looking. It doesn't have eyes. It moves its head around, and it goes, and it shakes this sleep off of it.
That's all Winnie has. She'll kind of use the rest of her turn to kind of circle back, positioning herself behind Vetra.
What, running away from a fight? We must slay the demon. What are you doing, coward?
Oh,
The sound of your sword.
Right, I forgot
Can
you
we
can
all
see what
hear
I
that?
do.
Yes, you can.
Great. I'm so glad.
It's just like, it has a very metallic tinge to it when it speaks, so that you know it's from a sword and not from
And it sounds like my father, right?
Yeah!
Great.
Your metallic father. The new show on HBO, My Metallic Father.
Yeah.
Okay.
Metal Dad.
All right, I mean,
Papa.
to battle, or I guess, and Winnie will use her remaining movement to charge at the creature, knowing that it's disappearing down the drain.
He's like, yes, valiant one you are. Proud, so very proud I am.
Please stop.
If you were my daughter, I'd be even more proud.
Oh, good.
So next turn is Theo. You are
Oh,
stone.
Good.
Um,
I'm so sorry for the rest of you that Theo's not dead.
So you're not dead, but you are stone, and when the combat's over on people's turns, they can do some checks to try to figure out how to reverse this, if it can be reversed. But right now, you are a stone statue. While you are in this space, you remember your first memory that you have, which for a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm born when I was a kid. Your first memory is a lot more recent. And you see a battlefield. Not like the one that you visited when you went to Dagger. This is more of a real place, a battlefield that doesn't go on forever. You can see a city where smoke and ruins are coming from. It looks like a battle has just ended, and there's banisters torn, helms, people dead, people crawling, moaning throughout this battlefield, and it almost looks as if it's a graveyard as it flashes from the banisters and the people from like tombstones, and then going back to this battlefield. And you see, standing in the middle of this is a cloaked person, someone familiar you feel. And you can interact with this vision because this is the first memory that you have. But you see someone cloaked, a figure in a black cloak standing in the middle of this battlefield. What do you do?
I run up to it, and I don't know if I'm actually, I guess if I'm in this vision, I do have some kind of ability to make speech, even if I can't, in the real world when I'm.
I feel like
when I'm
this is
stoned.
basically just a memory of what you did before. So this is pretty much playing out what you did.
Okay. So I think in that case, I'm running towards the hooded figure, the like only other like really like living, not actively dying thing that I can sense near me.
And you reach them, and they seem to be staring. They're hooded, and they seem to be staring off at the city.
Is everything all right? Did you forget everything too?
And you see them turn around, and it's Vigo, the tiefling sort of mentor person, and he's looks at you confused, and then something interrupts this memory, and you see it's kind of like almost static. It's like, and you see a yew tree that's dead, and its branches are kind of moving towards you, and you can hear the cracking of these limbs as it's moving towards you. And then when one of the branches reaches you at the end, a little bud forms, and then it grows into a black rose, and you feel air come into your body. And Detra.
Okay, so hearing Winnie say, "Don't let it get away," Vetra sheaths her sword,
Oh God.
sprints up to this creature.
Are you gonna wrestle it? No.
I am going to bear hug whatever the fuck this is and try to pull it out of the vent.
Oh,
Okay.
I knew it.
Cool. Yeah, so this will be a contest with this thing.
Tell me it's strength.
Yeah, you can definitely do strength. It can do dex or strength. So we'll roll. And unfortunately, it has advantage because of a thing, a property that it has.
That's okay, so do I. Because I'm raging.
Oh,
So-
ah!
Which is good, because I rolled a 1 first. And
Jeez.
I got a 22.
Okay, so it rolled a 19,
Fuck.
but it has a +7
Oh,
to its dex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the thing is you run up and you grab it, and you're grabbing it like if this was a person, like you got it. Like you got it. You grab this person up behind, you like pick up their legs, they'll start kicking. You do that, but then it like breaks its bones and it's moving. It's almost like it's I think cartilaginous is something
Just
where
slipping
it's,
out,
where it's not-
basically.
doesn't actually bone. Yeah, it's like doing that, and
It's
it's
a
like
big nose.
has weird not necessarily hard bones, but it's also kind of gooey at the same time. Or it behaves like it's gooey. You touch it, it feels like skin and leather and that stuff. But it's like really good at moving and making itself small and squishing through stuff. So you just like pull it, and then as you pull back, it's not in your arms anymore. And you're just looking at it, and it's just like
that's nasty as hell.
nasty teeth, and it's like jaws unhinging, getting wider, and just and you do see a wound on it that's not from you all. And give me an investigation real quick.
Oh
Very low
boy.
DC.
And I actually have pretty good. 15.
You remember when Mr. Cornhole was telling Theo about how they attacked this thing. They hit it with a candlestick, and you guys didn't find the candlestick when you were there, but you recognized the wound on it from what a candlestick would look like for hitting it. And you recognize that as it's like getting out of your hands and trying to get back through that little sewer grate. Anything else you'd like to do? You do see that it has the goopy boy in its hand.
Right. If I can try to grab that, can I?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, sure. It'll be pretty much the same sort of thing. It won't have advantage because you're not trying to grab it. You're trying to grab a thing. But yeah, it'll be a contest with this.
Am I doing Dex this time, probably?
You know what? You can do either, because I
Okay.
think wrestling it away or wrenching it away is just as viable as snatching it quick. You have to beat a 16.
I got a 21.
Ah, okay. So how do you grab it out of its hand?
I like go to grab onto it, and it just slips out with this just nasty like goo on my arm, and I'm like, oh, what? And then I just see that, and I just quick snatch, and then I'm just gonna like hold it back behind me, so that I am between like this ooze and this creature.
Hell yes. You snatch it away, and it looks at you. It looks really mad at that, and looks like it's trying to make a decision right And next turn, we pass the snakes are dead. Goes back to Dole.
Okay. So I'm going to reach into my my pack at my side and pull out this sort of flash paper that's been charcoaled over with these runes. I'm going to kick up the charcoal from the paper itself and then spit through the powder that collects into the air, and then this big, terrible, chaotic, chthonic whispers start to expose themselves out over it. It needs to make a save against Wisdom 14.
Okay. It does not make it.
14 points of damage. It must move as far as its speed allows away from me. I'm hoping that this pushes it away from the damn vent.
Okay. This boom from your voice comes out, and you hear it just, and it ungoops from the sewer, and you said it's just like its whole movement, basically.
Uses its whole movement to move away from my ass.
Okay. So you see it. It has a movement of 40, so it runs all the way to the wall, which I guess passes by Vetra. If you have a reaction, you could do an opportunity.
I am pretty sure I've used my reaction. If not, I feel like I did a lot last turn anyway, so
Okay.
we're good. Yeah.
Okay. So it just runs away, this hunched sort of run over to the wall, and you see it start to crawl up the wall because it has 10 extra feet of movement left, and it reaches up halfway as it's it's sort of screaming at you, Doll.
Okay. I will use my remaining movement, whatever I have left, to get over that damn vent.
Yeah, you can stand right on top of it.
Yeah, so now it's got to kill me to get down there, Adam. I'll see you do that.
Okay. And so that is your turn, Dull. Now it is the Deep Stalker's turn. It looks at you, it looks at the group, and it sort of looks around and it looks up, and you see wings sprout from its back, and it starts to fly up. But there is a net in the way, and it tries to hit, and it has to break through this net to be able to escape. That hits.
I just want to see Krennic's face.
He's very scared at the moment. So it unfortunately cuts through this net. All of the monks fly back. They're like, they reach back, and you see this thing fly up and fly towards the door, heading out of this place. And I will say now, we are out of initiative.
The moment this thing flies up and Winnie hears the sound of the rope slitting above, her sword is sheathed, she is turning towards Theo, and she is examining the stone.
Awesome. So you hear the doors burst open from the front of the temple, and everyone, the thing has escaped, but you do have the little goopy orb still, and your friend Theo is turned to stone. You see, after a few moments, you see the form of Krennic kind of come up near the edge of the thing. He's like, lower down, ladder. And you hear the other monks are getting ready. And he's just kind of looking over the side. He's like, what do you want?
You
Or
owe our
two
friend a
creatures.
cure if you have any intention of stepping out of this with your life.
He looks over, he's like, yes. Unfortunate. There is
Surely you've got something in the back that helps. This is of course happened to you before.
Well, normally he looks around at all the other statues. I don't put anyone I like down here. But there is a way. He's like, but unfortunately, you're going to have to do it yourselves. And he holds up his hands, the sleeves drop down, his hands have been severed. They're just stumps. You know that he had hands before. He's like, a present from your heroes. We made an agreement, but Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to use magic anymore. Even if I wanted to, I can't. But there is still a way. And he kind of nods at the dead body of the basilisks.
Tell me what I need to do.
He explains that there is because basilisks don't eat stone, they turn them into stone, start eating it, and when it goes into their stomach, it turns back into a person, basically. It turns back into flesh. So there is a organ inside of the basilisk that if you can extract, you can use that to pour onto the person to turn them back into a person again. So yeah, he describes that, and basically we're gonna have to do some surgery to get this thing out.
Right.
Oh gosh, Theo, I'm so sorry you're stoned. You would love this.
Yes.
I was
This
about to
would
say
be,
the same thing. It's like, oh God, Theo's gonna have really bad FOMO.
be her absolute favorite.
There's a
So-
second one though. We could show her how it works when she's all better.
Very true. Very true.
So
Well,
that is
and when he-
what you have to do.
Yeah, no, just walk me through the bits and I'll do what I need. And when he pulls out anathema from kind of strapped to a thigh, when he very clearly has the tools of her trade, which is collecting organs and components and kind of casting magic through bits and bobs and kind of experimenting. So she seems excited kind of by this prospect.
Awesome. Yeah, just give me a medicine.
21.
With okay, I was gonna say with advantage because he's Krennic's helping you, but you don't need to roll again. Yeah, what does this look like? You cutting and extracting and putting this thing on Theo, on little stone Theo with a little mirror in her hand.
This is not the first time Winnie has done magic via components while being coached by someone else. There are the heroes of the Great War, our first wielders of magic, and Winnie studied under a couple of them here and there, and a couple of her spells she kind of picked up from these other people. So it kind of comes as second nature. It kind of reminds her of her early days with the heroes as a peon before being a knight. And she kind of cuts through completely unfazed by the blood and the guts and the ichor. And when she finally is able to kind of wrench out this organ, I think
the two blue ones underneath it has a spine on it. That's what you'll find. It's attached to this.
Thank you. And Winnie's trying so hard to be patient and not just mouth off to this guy because he's helping and she does need his help to make sure that this works. And I think
It
towards
also
the end, she ends
seems
up
very hard for him to do as well. He's looking, but then looking away, and he's wiping his stump of his tears.
and towards the end, I think she crushes the organ between her hands, turning it into a bit of a paste, mixing in a bit of black ash and mixing in a bit of kind of some other things she found from the market, and then ends up kind of going up to Theo, maybe wiping it down her face so that the stone starts to recede, starting at her head and then going down the rest of her body.
Pretty much as you pull it down, it's the lines of your hand. As soon as you pull them down, they are flesh again. It's a very quick process. And you continue to do that, and Theo, you sort of come to very slowly, feeling very stiff, like you slept on the floor or something. And but then you start to notice, you were just in a fight, and now it's over, and there's lights around. And what happened?
Back. Welcome home.
Oh, it's you, Vigo. And I'm gonna throw my arms around him as soon as I'm able to. I just came out of my memories, everything else. I think I'm seeing Vigo. I'm seeing his nephew. I'm gonna try and throw my arms around Duel.
I definitely think that Dull is incapable of physical affection for most of his life. So
Excellent.
all of
Even
his
better.
hugs have been introduced through friends, not family. So okay. He very uncoordinated pats on the back. Good to have you back. I'm not the unhappy tiefling though. Less grumpy. Cuts at his
Oh
face.
God, I'm so sorry. You're not.
No, you're fine.
You're not who
it
I
was
thought.
great. You're very soft.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm also. Did I black out and cut into something again?
Not
What
so
am
much.
I covered in?
black out, but you turn to stone.
Oh, so that's why I was trapped in my own thoughts for a while. I don't think I want to do that again.
Yeah, how was that?
Incredibly unpleasant. It just a lot of bad, strange things in my head. But thank
So,
you
like,
for.
it was probably a numbing sensation instead of pain. It's just everything goes numb up until you get completely surrounded by this stone, which is unpleasant.
I feel a little a little off. My fingers, I don't think I quite have feeling back in them, but I'm all right. I think you rescued me, you saved me, even though I fucked up and I spat fire everywhere. Thank you for doing that.
The first time you spat fire, it gave me an idea for a new spell, so you can keep doing whatever that nonsense is. And I mean, we look after our own.
Right. You were trying to save us the same we were trying to save you. It had to be done. We're not letting you fall back.
Thank you. So does this mean that we won?
At that, I plop the ooze just like in front of Theo and is like, sure.
Yeah. It's sort of a net zero situation. We didn't win, but we also didn't lose, and we at least have Handless up here to explain what the fuck is going on in this.
Yeah, rope, please.
There's a ladder that's been placed down. I would say Krennic came down to help walk you through the process instead of just staying up there for 30 feet. It's right over there.
I can see it.
He came down, did that, and then is on his way climbing back up.
I think before Dull follows him, he's going to go over to the other basilisk beast that we did not cut up and serve to Theo on a platter. And he's going to go to the mouth of the beast and remove one of its prime canines. Just rip it free from the jaw itself. And he'll even look over to Vetra and say, would you like one? Tooth of the beast that bit you.
You hear
Anyone?
Krennic. If you would like to have a conversation, I would appreciate you not dismantling my pets. Otherwise, our conversation will be over.
This is a part of my culture. I'll have you understand. In the Falks, we take the fangs of the things that try to kill us.
Well, when your friend dies, I'll just take part of them. How about that? You with the weird hair, can you give me your finger?
I prefer to keep my bones. I am usually the one who takes bones, but I guess if you really need it.
Oh yes, I very much would like it. Dull, you can give me a persuasion or something to kind of smooth this over, but this is definitely something he is not about. This is on thin ice right now, unfortunately.
Okay. I have a 22.
Okay,
he looks at him and says, listen, I'm from the Falks. It is a part of my culture. You attempted to kill me. It is only right that you allow me to take the tooth. Besides, we've used it to cure our friend already, and you were fine with us dismantling her corpse to do the same. You'll understand, Krennic, that that is not my consequence, it's your own. We came here to speak peacefully, and you decided otherwise.
He turns around without saying anything,
and
just sort of walks away. Just doesn't. He's not looking in the pit anymore, basically. But he's.
I'm getting my tooth, damn it. Vetra, you want a tooth? Anyone? He's taking one.
I'm not sure if I should, but I kind of do want one.
Theo, he turned you to stone. You take whatever you like from the damn lizard.
But
what do you want? A femur or what?
No, just a tooth. That way I might know what it is I'm pulling from my bag next time. But Krennic, if you let us have the bones, if you let me have a bone, then Gemma, she's not gone forever. I can bring her back sometimes.
He kind of peeks back over the side. He's like, "What do you mean?"
Mm-hmm.
The way that my magic works, I don't understand all of it, but I can bring people back sometimes, and I can ask them questions, and I channel them through me. So any time that I use her bone, I'll be channeling Gemma. So if you let us take her bones, it's almost like she didn't die at all. She'll be remembered. Someone will remember her.
You see his face kind of get a little bit teary-eyed, and he's like, "I like that one." And as he's sort of gesturing towards you, and he walks away again. You seem that he's approving of this.
Okay. In that case, Theo says, "Oh, well, I guess I don't need this anymore." And I put my dagger, which I was very prepared to cut off my own finger. I put my dagger back, and I turn to the others and I say, "I think that was a yes."
Absolutely. And honestly, I was going to do it either way. And then I rip off a canine.
So you all collect your bones or fangs. You can write those down in your inventory. Basilisk fangs, basilisk bone, whatever have you. And you all come out of this thing, I'm assuming.
I
And-
would actually like
Okay.
to hang back and kind of hang back with Dull, if possible, for a moment.
Cool. Yeah, so let's say that Theo and Winnie are climbing up. They've got to the top, and Dole, you're about to go on the ladder, and then Vetra stops.
Yeah, I just say, hey.
Hmm?
What you said to Krennic earlier.
Which?
Any of it.
Okay.
You're smooth with
Thank
your
you.
words. But if you ever try to trick me, ever, with your silver tongue, I will kill you with my silver blade. I don't take kindly to manipulators. Do you understand?
I understand, Vetra, I do. And I'll be the first to say that you remind me of home. But if you don't take kindly to manipulators, you will not enjoy me. My entire life is built on a lie. Professional. But if you can accept that you can never trust me, then it's a sort of trust, isn't it? And for now, I'll be forthright. You're not on my list. In fact, I say we work well together. I think that you and I understand each other a lot better than you might think at first. And I think he puts out his hand. I think we have an agreement. I lie, you kill me.
Okay. And she'll reach out and like grab onto the forearm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
The cool guy, handshake.
Oh, damn.
Caleb and Carrie, you both have inspiration. That was very cool. So yeah, you have a cool moment, and then you are all out of the pit, and you can hear the stone raising up as the little trap door thing is reset, and you are outside of the pit, standing in this temple with Krennic. The elf monster expert, and a couple of his monks are still standing warily, sort of keeping room between him and you all. Some of them are trying to go fix the door that has been recently broken as the Deep Stalker escaped. So, if you are not here to kill me, then what, I say may ask, were you here for?
I think Dull points over his shoulder. Both me and Winnie.
Ah,
We were
that.
here for that.
Curious thing, that Deep Stalker. They're not from around here. They are found deep, deep, deep within the earth. and it acted very strangely, almost as if it's a beast, you see. It acts on instinct, it hunts, but this one, strange.
I'm pretty sure that one's name used to be Pete.
Used to be Pete? What makes you think that? It's a
The I mean, it's, I haven't, I didn't recently go on a vacation to the Deep Down to talk to the Gloomstalkers or Deep Darkers or whatever you just said they were called. The circumstances of a recent string of murders have led us here, and based off of what we've learned so far, we have some reasons to believe that people are being turned into these creatures. And that one used to be named Pete. Maybe. It's a working theory.
I don't know of any magic that can do that, but I am also not versed in that sort of transmutation thing, so...
Who tipped you off to us coming here?
Strange that. I never knew who they were, but they told me of these disappearances and how the great knights of Nemeria are here to find anyone and blame them. And since I'm involved in monsters, it was easy to believe. It was a cloaked person. They might have had a hunchback or something. I didn't get a very good look at them, but they definitely seem not like folk that you would all associate with up above.
Krennic, are you in the habit of trusting anyone off the street, or did they provide credibility?
I will say it was a moment of weakness. When someone takes your hands, it is a sore subject when they return.
Right.
So no, I did not know them, but that is all that I know about them. But that
Krennic,
creature, yes?
Being a master of monsters, clearly you have an understanding of these beasts, at least farther than we do. Do you have any idea why it may be targeting veterans of the war or any specific sentient person? I've never heard of something like this happening where a beast has now been given direct purpose.
Magic is strange. It can do many things. But I have never heard of a beast such as this. You said kidnapping people?
It's a thought. There was another roommate in the last murder. He's missing. Me and Winnie got to thinking that perhaps this creature is contagious, and maybe people are turning into the beast.
Well, I don't know about that. But I do know that controlling a beast is a difficult thing. Even when I had my hands, I was not able to fully control monsters. Merely persuade them. Illusions and such. But this creature, the way that it acts, it is not in its nature.
Right.
So whatever it is doing, it is being influenced. That is my guess. I don't know why.
Part of what it wanted this, and Winnie will pull out that. Actually, I think Vetra currently has it.
Oh.
I think so. I just kind of like yeah, I'll hold it up at the sound of that. I will also hand it back over to you as well.
Thanks. Yeah, we found it at the scene of the crime, as it were, and
is it still in the bag, or have you opened it?
Yeah, it's probably got she's kind of holding it on a handkerchief, and it's kind of been undone so that Krennic can see it, but she's not directly touching it.
He looks at it, and you see a sort of golden circle-y glow goes through his eyes, and as he sort of widens his eyes and he looks at it, and he's like, ah, strange. He looks at the rest of you. I have a special ability, one that the heroes decided to leave me with because it was useful to them. Part of our agreement for me staying alive. I can examine creatures, monsters, that kind, and I have no idea what that is. It seems similar to perhaps eggs that a deep stalker would lay, but the color's not right. It's off.
Could I make an insight check on his reaction to the orb? It seemed as though he had some hint of recognition, or maybe it was interest. Maybe he's being honest. I'd just like to know if maybe I think he wants more out of this orb and doesn't want to give that away.
I'll say you don't have to make an insight. His eye, like extending in like that weird circle thing, was a magic effect that he had.
That's the power he's talking about.
Like
Okay.
basically, you get the gist that with his hands he could cast spells and do magic, but he has a unique ability with just his eyes where he can kind of like scan monsters and kind of learn a lot of information about them. Only monsters and creatures, not like humanoid type people.
Okay.
Or other things. So he, so you get that from that. It doesn't seem like he has some ulterior motive here.
Well, it was worth a shot. If you say it might be an egg, maybe it's an egg. And if you don't know who warned you, then you don't know who warned you. And if you can't give us any sort of direction, maybe we should just do what we agreed, right, Winnie? And we should go to Tom's tower and deal with people who know what they're talking about, correct?
We had, the heroes and I have an agreement. I help them with these monster issues, and they allow me to stay here in the city. But you all are not the heroes, you are the Knights of Nemeria, but I will do you this favor. That is what I know about the... If you're looking to find this monster, generally their nests are in long vertical shafts. So, that might be a hint. He sort of smiles. I'm sure there's not many of those places in the city. There's a lot. And he's like, but I can tell you at least how it came to be in my possession.
That was my next question. Yeah.
It was a strange thing. It was early this morning. I was getting ready for the local service, doing some healing from a dragonborn folk who had scraped their knee, and the thing flew through the middle of our temple, running through, trying to get to the other side, out the other end, and one of my monks was thinking fast, and they pulled the thing and it fell in. I scanned it very quickly and was able to determine how it can escape, and so trapped it in that small room. But it had a body with it, and what looked to be... Mariah, do you still have that? And one of the monks sort of like nods and goes off to get something. The body was of a woman. They seem to be dead. And since I don't want Captain Ulrich Steins up my ass, I had one of my monks take the body to the morgue, so there's no investigations happening down here. We don't need any more God presence down here than we need. We're already... They don't much help the people down in the Undercroft, and I'd like to keep them away as long as possible. So we dealt with the body that way, and we also found this. And you see one of the lizard folk come back, and it's like in a similar cloth, and they put it forward, and it looks like a black claw. Maybe not that long, but like maybe about like 6-7 inches, something like that, like a black claw. It's been broken in half, and yeah, that's what it looks like. It was trying to put this back together as it was running, and it seemed I interrupted it and took its strange possessions with me.
Put it back together.
And then you all arrived. It was a rather trying day for me.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Did you say a morgue?
Yes, I did. The one that is, the one on Stone Hill. It is just up next to the district that we are at. Just a few blocks away from the Guts district. You know that the Guts district is the fishery area, basically where you went to get into the sewers. It's like right above you, and then just like a couple blocks away is the Stone Hill, which is where the cemetery is, and the morgue and all of that stuff. Another part of the city of Darameade.
Good. Sounds like we have a next destination. Theo gets to look at the morgue and have her pick of the bodies, and maybe we can find the unfortunate soul that this beast was carrying around. Maybe.
Anything else?
Do you think anything bad will happen if I destroy this?
The ooze thingy?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine.
All right, I'll chance it. Thank you.
Of course. Now, if you'll kindly get the hell out of my temple, I'd very much appreciate it.
Of course, Krennic. We'll make it known that you were cooperative, albeit
Excellent.
aggressive.
And I guess as you're all turning to leave, the doors are kicked open, and you see someone come in. He's like, "Stop right there! I know
God.
exactly what's going on. You're under arrest."
Can I just knock him out?
You do see that he is flanked by where did I put that? 15 city guards. So you can choose to do that if you'd like, but he is pointing at Krennic and not at you all.
Oh.
He's like, "I've solved the mystery. Don't worry, citizens. I've figured it out." He's very muscular, handsome, long blonde hair, blonde mustache. And he has a floating book next to him that has a quill going very quickly, and he has 15 Darameade guards behind him, sort of like coming in past him as he walks in and strikes a pose and points at Krennic. He's like, "Arrest that man! Because it's he who is behind the whole thing! I have discovered it all! And you can read it all in my new book! I'll call it something like, the demon under the door. Yes, that's what I'll call it. Next bestseller." And Krennic is like, he's like, "What's going on? Why? I didn't do anything." And the guards are going up, and they're going to arrest him.
Oh no, you don't want to. Actually, we rushed in. We were trying to run in after some guy who was like, "I'm the one who did it," and then he jumped down into that pit and he made that slash mark in the net, and then he disappeared down the sewer drain down there and shut the door behind himself. So you should probably check in there.
Give me a deception.
Winnie actually looks like she's going to start sweating, and then like looks to the rest of the group. Right, like we tried, but we weren't quite fast enough to do it. We weren't good enough to do it.
All looks a little shaky with the lie, but absolutely like, right, yes. And we speak with the authority of the Knights of Nemeria. We have jurisdiction over a penny book writer.
Yeah, give me a deception. I would say with advantage, not dull. Winnie Chandler is going to give me a deception with advantage because your friends are helping you out.
This is not good. Okay.
Got
An
this,
8 and a 18.
Hey, there
Okay.
we go.
So Nicodemus Lockwood stands there and he's like, well, that does sound like a fun twist, but unfortunately, that's not who done it. And the guards are kind of like looking back and forth, and they're looking to Lockwood, and they're like, "Sorry, his dad's important." And they kind of walk past you all to go, and they put They go to put handcuffs on Krennic, and they're like, oh! He's like, yes, it might be a little bit difficult to do. And they're like, come with us! And they just kind of like grab him, and he's like, yes, another villain, unhanded! Ha ha! Yes, I knew it all along. It was you! You and that Pete person. He was a secret wizard the whole time, and you summoned a demon with your help. Yes, it was you, Krennic, to kidnap all of these veterans and to make them disappear because you wanted to start your own disappearing business, to escape debts, and you thought you'd get away with it. But if it wasn't for Mr. Cornhole, yes, the cornhole that sunk the ship, that is you. That is right. If it wasn't for Cornhole, I never would have discovered it. And I never would have discovered that dastardly Mrs. Molmeyer, who was involved in it as well. Yes, that's right. She hid the sword and she hid the candlestick, but I found them. So you're all going to be arrested, and I'm going to save the day yet again.
What actual evidence do you even have?
A lot of evidence, you amateur! And he looks at you. He's like, I found the clues that you missed. That's right. Mrs. Molmeyer was hiding the candlestick that she attacked the monster with, and she was hiding the sword. That means that Pete was indeed a veteran. But you all missed that because this is definitely your first book. He looks down his nose at all of you when he says that.
Well, we knew
I would like
they
to
were
get in his face.
Huh?
I would like to get in his face.
He's like, you have like to say something to God's favorite detective? I couldn't do it without them.
I just say very, very quietly, you know who else has an important father?
And who's that? He's just kind of like looking at you. Do you want me to guess? Let's see. Probably Theseus, K.o.N. His father's
I want to
Edward
headbutt him
K.o.N.
so bad, you guys.
I'm going to look to the guards and say, you may want to take a few steps back from what's about to happen.
The guards are kind of looking at the situation, and they're just like, it'd be best if you just step back, miss. And they're kind of like coming over. They're like, we've got...
I'm sorry, are you speaking to Vetra?
Yes, that's what they are.
She has complete jurisdiction over all of you fools.
Do
you know who you're speaking to? Do you know any idea who you're confronting currently? Any of these three people in front of me right now could own your job tomorrow if they so decided. They could own mine. They could tell Lockwood to piss off for the rest of his wretched life, and he would have nothing from his book sales for the rest of his life. He is lucky if Vetra breaks his nose. That is the least of which we could do to all of you. Go on, Vetra. Take him.
The guards kind of look at each other and like, we got orders. Let's not cause any problems that don't need to be caused. Let's just take him and go. Just don't start any business, right? All right. And Lockwood's like, I don't understand why everyone's so upset. It's just a mystery, and I've solved it. And he's waiting for you to say who's an important person's, who has an important father or whatever. And he's like, well, I guess there's nothing to say. And then he turns around and starts to walk away. Start it like this. And he's talking to his book, and he's just kind of going on and on as he's starting to walk away.
Krennic, we'll fix this.
Krennic, it's like, I would appreciate that as he's being taken away. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if not. He kind of more says to himself. And unless you guys want to do anything, he is Lockwood. Actually, the guards are going off, and they're like going outside the doors, and then Lockwood kind of comes back, and he's like, well, hey, since the investigation's over, you guys want to go to a party? I'm having a party. You're all invited. It'll be a good time. I all this business with investigating. Sometimes I just like to kick back. What do you say?
I would like to. He has a talking book, right?
A floating book that writes stuff. Yeah.
Would you say it's about 30 feet away from me?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to expend a second level slot to cast Magic Mouth on it. I'm really sorry, guys. This is not going to be as useful as you think it is. But the book grows a little mouth on the front page of whatever is open right there. And in Dull's best impression, it goes, "I'm a little dumbass." That's it.
He's like, he turns around. He's like, Lizzie, what are you doing with what? Why are you saying that?
That's all I needed.
That's a bit embarrassing. Silly book talking. Shut up. And he kind of takes it and puts it away. But, well, if you're looking to have a fun time, that'd be 1, 2, 3. That'd be 5 people so far. So if you're interested, let me know. And he turns around.
It can replay for 10 minutes, so it's just on a loop right now.
You need to stop that. That's not good look.
Is that your
for
first
me.
book?
No, this is my 4th book.
Oh, well, you can't tell.
I don't know what that means. When you look like you were going to say something.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry I cut you off.
And you see Nicodemus Lockwood. He's like, oh, you can call me Nancy now. We're friends. And he turns around and he leaves. Just sort of like trying to keep the book shut up. And he leaves the temple.
I'm real sorry about the grate. It honestly, he would have learned something if he went down that grate, because the guy wanted to go down there, but it's way easier to lie to the sword than to people.
That's
the sword is an idiot.
What do you mean about that?
Well, he sounds like an idiot. So.
What do you mean about lying to a sword? Are you talking about some other sword? Are you talking about me?
No, I'm definitely talking about another sword. Thank you. Go back to sleep.
Another sword seems like a dumbass.
Vetra leaves. Vetra walks out of the... I can't do it anymore.
You walk out into the Undercroft, which is a big underground sewer cavern-like place with a lot of strange folk walking around, and you can see the last vestiges of the guards disappearing, leading out of the sewers. You can see that it's getting about nighttime around now. What is your all plan? What is the next course of action?
I think we need to go talk to a dead body.
So I'll say you guys, Dull, you know exactly where the morgue is, and you lead the party through the city. You exit out into the guts district, which is basically where a bunch of fisheries are, and that's where you exit the sewer. That's where you are. It's very fishy smell. It's right on the side of the island. And you go around through the alleyways and the streets, and then you end up at as you're walking through the streets, you're past a more wealthy neighborhood on the way to Stonehill, and you actually see a couple of looks to be college-robed people. And they're all like, oh, step up, join the riddle competition if you like. All the proceeds go to helping the local college. If you'd like to join the riddle competition, try and test your intelligence, test your might, and perhaps you will win a prize. This year is the hunting slime. If you want to find something, you can find it with this. It's a very rare animal, and it's for the most cleverest of clever. So, 10 gold per contestant, and you can join the riddle competition. Come on. Would you like to join, sir? Yes, you. Would you like to join? It's just a couple of riddles. And you hear this kind of going on in this section of the city. Out of character, this is just a fun side thing. If you want to do it, you definitely don't have to. And you see that.
What do you say? Are you all fond of pub quizzes?
I've never tried.
I'm not the biggest fan of surprises, but I guess surprises are just kind of part of my life now.
Enough.
I mean, if y'all are gonna twist my arm, I guess I could do it.
Oh, come on, Winnie. This seems like it was made for you.
I would like to play, yeah.
I think we should.
You see
Hey.
a robed skull. Sorry.
Real quick, how is Winnie looking right now?
Oh,
bad.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
really
I'm
bad.
gonna actually just like walk over and I'm gonna pull a potion of greater healing out of my pocket and just kind of hold it out. Hey, you okay?
Oh shit, you're right. No, oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm so, no,
I forgot I was
can hold
dying.
on. You can hold on to that.
No, look, I didn't even
Ooh.
get hit in there at all. You can,
You sure?
yeah, take it.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And Winnie will drink, and she will regain some health.
I just do max
Oh,
on health
hell yeah.
potions. So I
So
think it's
20.
like 4d something. Yeah, okay, 20.
44
plus 4.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you get that back. I would say maybe that's just while you're walking through the streets. Vetra, you hand it to her. You drink this potion, and it's magical healing. So I mean, like it wouldn't reset bones if you've broken any bones, but it just speeds up your healing process. So you see the wounds start to scab over very quickly, and you're starting to feel better as your wounds are slowly closing as you're walking through the city. And some people are like, "What the hell?" As they're looking over at you, like, "Oh, they must be heroes! Oh, God, I've never seen magic in person like that. It's incredible! Wow, incredible! Can I do that?" And then you stop at this little riddle competition. And you see a scholarly person be like, would you all be interested in joining the riddle competition? Such intelligent looking folk like you would definitely love to help the local college. All proceeds go to the local college and to help those studying there. Well, what do you say?
I think we're all in.
Yes?
Can we operate as teams?
Yes, of course. If you'd like to operate as a team, I'd be more than happy to. That's just 10 gold each, and you can operate as a team if you'd like. Basically, you just have to beat another group that is doing riddles as well, and you just have to get more right than they do. Basically, what you need to do is like solve the riddle, and when you come up with a solution, you guys need to agree on it, and then be like, "This is our answer," instead of just shouting things out. So he's like, all right, so we've got two teams up here. We've got the Sharks and what is your group's name? Your riddle
We're
team?
the Nancy Woods, after our favorite author.
Very interesting choice of literature. The Nancy Wood team and the Sharks. And you see the Sharks is just like a bunch of university students, and they're like, they just kind of like laugh and point at you guys. And he's like, all right, first riddle. What gets bigger when more is taken away? What gets bigger when more is taken away? And you see him pull up an hourglass and flip it over. You'll have 2 minutes. Starting now.
This is a great idea, you guys.
Things that get more as they get smaller, or as you take stuff away from them. I don't know. I was thinking about hunger, but that's not right. Time doesn't work like that either.
Yeah, that was my first thought too, and that doesn't work.
Well, you have to think of it as a nihilistic approach. This is something that is nothing, because the less of it is the more of it. So,
The more blood you take away, the more dead you get? No, that's not right.
But I like the energy though. That's good. I mean, it could be nothing, right? The more nothing you take away, the more nothing you have. Wait,
what
no,
if
the
it's
less?
like digging? A hole gets bigger the more you take away from it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
What, like a grave?
A grave could work. Anything hole-wise, right?
1 minute left.
That's the closest I've got. Nothing or hole.
I like the whole idea.
Well, then go
Yeah,
for it,
let's-
team captain.
No, I don't like that.
Come on.
You're
Winnie
the one who signed
Chandler.
us up.
Captain of the Nancy Woods.
40 seconds left.
Oh,
Do
Theo?
you have an answer?
If you say it, then maybe that will be an act of valor for your idiot sword later.
Exactly. Prove the
Oh,
idiot
it-
sword right. I'm
It
sure it
feels so
loves
good when
riddles.
someone else says it.
Vetra, how does your father feel about riddles?
What? No.
20 seconds.
He only really cares about riddles if they're like to open up a door that leads into an arena where you fight like something that's of an evil alignment of some
seconds.
sort. A hole?
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Sure.
You are correct! It is a hole! Alright, 1 for team... What was it? Something Wood?
Nancy Woods.
Nancy Wood, yes, very good. Team, 1 point for
With our team captain, Winnie Chandler.
Oh gosh.
Winnie
Yeah.
Chandler, famous. They're just kind of like waiting for the
No.
next riddle, and they're like, you all... that's actually really good. You did a really good job. Where are you all folks from? You traveling? You all look like outfitted for combat. Where are you all? Who are you all?
Just hearing abouts. I'm just a cook in town. Never went to school.
Oh, well, impressive. It looks like you do well for yourself. A very good dress. Very, very nice clothes for a cook.
Yes, thank you.
Do you teach up in the castle? Or
No, I do
you cook
not.
up in the castle? Oh no.
No.
Private cook for someone wealthy?
No.
Wow, I didn't
I
think
work
we
in the
paid that well
Guts
for
district.
cooks. Huh. All right. Well, next question. All right, we got the next riddle here. He holds up a piece of paper. I'm light as a feather, yet the strongest person can't hold me for 5 minutes. What am I?
Oh, this is easy.
Starting now. I'll say it
Yeah.
again. I'm light as a feather, yet the strongest person can't hold me for
You
5
don't have
minutes.
to say it
What
again.
am I?
We've got it. Miss Chandler.
I do believe the answer is breath.
Mm-hmm.
You are correct!
Ah!
Yes, good one, good one. That's the fastest time yet. Look at those Yankees over there, still trying to figure it out.
I mean, this is why the school needs money, right?
Yes, this is
like a dog, and no.
Doesn't even make sense.
Let's see. There's another one. I have just like a list of riddles. I'm trying to go to the ones that I think are very fun. Okay. All right. Here is the third riddle. If the other team fails this, then you might win it outright. But we'll see how this goes. Now, here's the third riddle. 1,000 soldiers guard this golden hoard, each with a single sword. Just one door, so theft is quite a feat, but the reward is oh so sweet. Time starts now. 1,000 soldiers guard this golden hoard, each with a single sword. Just one door, so theft is quite a feat, but the reward is oh so sweet. What am I?
Is this
Struggling.
like local knowledge or
Yes.
something?
I don't see where the riddle is.
No, this is pretty common.
Will you read that one more time?
Yes, of course. 1,000 soldiers guard this golden hoard, each with a single sword. Just one door, so theft is quite a feat, but the reward is oh so sweet. You can also ask maybe yes or no questions if you'd like.
Is it like maybe some sort of pastry?
The sweet thing is what I'm catching on, but the sword thing is confusing me.
Are they like teeth or
Right?
something?
That's what I was thinking. Like, what has like teeth that's not alive? Because the only thing I can think of is not right.
Dull Theo?
40 seconds left.
I don't know all that much about teeth individually. I kind of just pull them. I don't.
Usually I'm great
Golden
with teeth.
hoard.
It's sort of my thing, but not here.
All right.
20 seconds.
1,000 soldiers guard this golden hoard.
I would say focus on golden, single sword, one door, and sweet.
Golden, it's got a
2,
single door.
1. All right, time is up. I need your answer.
As the captain, I deferred to someone else on my team to blurt out a response.
We will need an
Real
answer.
leadership.
What is your answer? Well, it looks like Team Nancy Wood, or whatever it was, did not get this one. The answer is a beehive.
With a
Okay.
single sword, there's stingers.
Yes.
Ah.
Well, it seems the other team failed that as well. So, let's see if we can make this our last question. Here we go. Let's see. Let's try the friggin' riddle. Here we go. If you've got me, you want to share me. If you share me, you haven't kept me. What am I?
Chlamydia. That's a joke. That's a joke. Do not take that.
Is that your final answer?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I mean, I think I know this one.
I've already forgotten the riddle because I was so excited about my joke. But I trust fully in Winnie Chandler.
Vetra,
I have a heart.
a heart.
You
Have you
got
been
me,
stealing hearts
Sharon.
again?
No, I don't steal hearts. I just steal bones.
That's fine. I believe the answer is a secret.
Is that your final answer?
Ooh, very good.
Yeah.
You're correct!
Oh,
Congratulations!
give us the damn ooze.
That is correct. You have won the riddle competition. And here is your prize, sir. And you see he goes in this chest and like opens the chest. And you see a little cage that's like about the size of maybe like a bowling ball. And inside is a little red cube. And it's just kind of like sort of like slowly moving around, and it's like a little, almost like a little wooden cage where you can see inside of it. And they hand it to you like, there you go, there's your genuine hunting slime. Thank you all for participating today, and we will see you all tomorrow with more fundraising riddles. Thank you, everyone. Thanks everyone for coming. And they hand this little creature over to you, and they say it's a hunting slime.
They trapped the poor little fellow in there.
Do you want it?
Sure, he deserves freedom. I'm gonna take the little cage and I will open it up and
Okay.
put my hand out.
Give me an animal handling.
Okay. Not something Dell was prepared for. Oh, pretty good. 17.
Okay, so what do you do to like, I don't know, to try to, I guess, befriend this creature, or are you just letting it go to go roam in the city?
Well, I think that Dull he's from a very harsh place. The Falks are not famous for its affection or kinship. So his context for like animal friendship is the same way that like those really tough German dog trainers will like just snap dogs into position and everything. So I think he like clicks his tongue a few times and then grunts into his palm, expecting the slime to like abide by the order almost. A very militant slime he's hoping for.
Okay. So you do that, and the slime like it just sort of like straightens up for a second. I guess like becomes harder, and then it just kind of relaxes after a few seconds. You feel it kind of like vibrating a little bit in your hand, in like a nice way, I guess.
Like an affectionate
Yeah, an
vibration?
affectionate way. And
We will
yeah.
name him Nancy Wood,
No.
and he will be our mascot.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let him sort of slide up my arm to sit on my shoulder for a while.
Yes, little Nancy would just sort of slimes up to your
God.
shoulder.
Oh, the feeling is not
and
pleasant.
It's just
I
you have a
wanna
little
touch
red
it.
cube sitting there.
Go on.
Yeah, you touch it, and it's just like boom. It's like Jello, basically.
He's a very kind
Um,
man.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
I don't know what a hunting slime does.
I thought it was gonna eat your hand actually at first, but
I thought about that too.
So yeah, you all are standing after this riddle competition, with your little slime, and I'm assuming you are going to continue to the morgue.
the morgue.
Amazing. So now you have a little hunting slime with you as you continue to the morgue.
I think that Dull is gonna take out like his ration box and start feeding little like bacon bits and biscuit to the little hunting slime and seeing if he accepts the carbohydrates.
You put it near it, and then just kind of like sucks it inside, and you can see it inside of the slime, and then it just kind of slowly starts to disintegrate
He is
or
a
to
good
melt
man.
inside of it. But yeah, it seems pleased. So on your way, you guys eventually arrive. This is it's getting pretty late, and you arrive at the morgue at Stone Hill. Basically, it's near another edge of the island. And you see that there's this fence around the whole cemetery. There's a building that you seem to assume is the morgue, and there seems to be some like lamp lights in the morgue right now. And you actually see about quite a few, maybe about like 5 or 6 Darameade guards there. And you also see Captain Ulrich Steins out front. And he kind of regards you all as you were approaching.
Yeah, we'll just walk up and just kind of give a little nod.
Captain,
Hello.
how have
And
things
what
been?
do I owe the pleasure?
Well, we were sent here on a lead in the investigation that we're operating for. A lead given to us by a man that you unrightfully apprehended earlier on a penny book author's decree. But we'll overlook that for now.
He just kind of rolls his eyes. He's like, my priority is to keep the people of Darameade safe. And Mr. Lockwood's father is the Tormorganian representative that is discussing the peace treaty currently. If I am to interfere in his affairs, then that would be bad for the people of Darameade. So
I understand.
I arrested him aloud.
Listen, all of us are extreme benefiters of grand nepotism. At least the Knights of Nemeria are born out of it. We understand what it's like to have very important parents.
Yes.
But Lockwood is using his powers to play pretend. We're actually trying to accomplish something in the city.
I am also trying to accomplish something. I'm trying to solve this thing on my own, with my own people. And it seems you all keep getting in the way. So, perhaps...
What have
if
you uncovered so far?
He sort of gets straight-faced. He's like, wouldn't you like to know?
Actually, I think we knew it first.
Yeah.
And why should I help the Knights of Nemeria?
Because we
Destroyed the Rusty Bell room, tampering with evidence and letting the Lockwood maniac interfere. Why would I let you in on what we know?
we
I
want
don't
the
really
same-
want to know what you know. We already know enough. We just need into the morgue. We don't need your help. We just need your cooperation.
Well, I'm afraid that won't be able to happen. You see, there was an incident in the morgue, and the city guard are dealing with it.
What kind of an incident?
Unfortunately, that's classified.
If you don't tell us what happened, then we'll find it out some other way. We'll get the dead to tell us what happened.
He just sort of narrows his brows. And he's like, sure. And he's just kind of, you can tell that obviously this guy does not like you, and there's gonna have to be some sort of something to get him to let you guys in, or to do something.
Captain, listen, we are both on the same side here. You want this crime solved. Now, the difference in these two factions, our own and yours, you would like to take credit for this operation.
The difference between my organization and yours is that we take responsibility for the things we do. It's not just hand-waved off, and for any sort of thing that we can do, we have consequences. You and the heroes can do whatever you want.
You know what? Some of the heroes are fine with collateral damage. I'm less so. We will behave ourselves inside of the morgue.
How can I trust you?
You just have to. Take our word for it. And you know what? You're right. We did rip apart some floorboards. I'll go reimburse the kind lady who runs the Rusty Bell. Have that floor replaced. You know what? And even pay for the rest of the damage. We should have thought to do that earlier, and I apologize.
You can see... Someone give me an insight.
19.
You can tell that that's starting to win Mr. Ulrichstein's over. He's almost he's like on the edge right now of making that decision of whether to let you in, but there's still a little bit more for him to get to that spot.
I have to confer with my people, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't give you credit for solving this in the first place. We just seek to see justice done. You don't have to give the name to Nemeria, or at least you could share the credit. We understand that you're at a disposition, that we're causing havoc in your town, that 6 different highly important categories have come into your existence and changed the way you do things. I know how that feels, but that doesn't mean that you don't get the recognition you deserve. We can help you with that.
Winnie Chandler, you can tell that he actually doesn't care about getting the glory. But I'll say when Dull is talking, you do see him kind of lingering on, let's say, whoever has exposed Knights of Nemeria tattoos or symbols. You do see him kind of like look at that while Dull is talking about like credit and stuff like that.
I think actually, if one of your Dull is right. I think none of us need the credit for any of this. In fact, if it helps these peace talks go through, if it helps people recognize that the folks here are looking for the same things, I'm all for it. But I think of the damages to the room probably aren't more than 5-10 gold.
Do you want to join us? Do you want to be like us, a Knight of Nemeria? Is that what you...
He blushes.
What you want?
He's like, no. No, that is not the life I would want to told you that.
I didn't think it was the life that I wanted either, and then a strange man in a hood in the middle of a battlefield found me, and now it is my life. So if you help us, we actually know the person very well who recruited us, so maybe we could put in a good word for you.
He looks a little embarrassed, and then he like looks at the other guards that are like, what? And he's like back to work, and they're like, oh, and they like go back to their stuff, and he's like, Maybe.
You could come with us into the morgue just now. We could show you what we're investigating. We could share evidence and make this a joint investigation with the Knights of Nemeria.
And you can see if you have the temperament for the work, if you have the stomach for it.
Theo has a remarkable gift. You'll have an opportunity to see what she can do.
And the credit would end up going to you, because maybe become one of us.
He is very surprised at all of this information and is like, 10 minutes, and he turns around and just kind of like walks away from the door, looking a bit flustered, not barring your path any longer to get inside of the morgue.
I think that Dull turns around and gets everybody in a huddle and just goes, "Ah! We did it!
You have succeeded.
Exceptional work! I did not think of the Knights of Nemeria angle. That was incredible, Theo. Inspired work."
I'm just glad he's not coming in with us. I don't know if I can do that in front of strangers again.
Fine. We'll turn around. We'll make sure the room is right. We'll make sure everything's okay.
So you, I guess, guys, head on in, and you see a couple of guards are like walking around, and you see that there is a morgue is set up, a lot of stone slabs. It's not as big of a building. There's a lot of stone slabs with like white sheets covering any bodies that are in there. There's not that many, but there's one where the sheet is uncovered and it looks like a woman. It looks like a woman, dead body. And there's also a bag on the floor that one of the guards is looking at. And there's a couple of guards inside, and they're kind of looking around. It looks like they're like touching on the walls in the back of the room for some reason. And then one of the guards is like, "Oi, so they captain let you in?"
That was a remarkable sentence.
What's going?
You don't need the lowdown? Right. So, kind of points. He's like, so we were dropping off Cuthbert over there.
Right.
Mr. Cornhole. And you can see that there's one...
I'm sorry, what was his name? Could you just say it?
Cuthbert Cornhole.
Thank you.
He was a guard a little while ago. He retired. I worked with him a couple of times. Nice guy. Pretty quiet.
Yeah.
But we were returning Mr. Cornhole back to his place, where he's his place of rest. No one is here. We came in, and some dude in a fucking cloak guy, some hunched dude was in here doing something. Looking at that lady over there, and just sort of like ran off, dropped his bag, and just fucking disappeared. Wildest thing.
Yes.
So Captain told us to look around, make sure nothing's off, and we figured out who this one is. So that's Musker. There's a person who's missing, name's Pete. I believe that's his sister. They were both. What was it? What was it, Jim? He looks over and he's like, "Oh yeah, they both fought in the war." Ah, right, yeah, they both fought in the war. Shame though. And so yeah, we found that. We found this bag over here, but some weird bones in it. And then we found this, and he holds up. It looks like a key, but it's like a big key. It's like a. It's about the size of a Subway sandwich, and it's like has a weird little like connectors and things on it. It's a very strange looking key, and he gestures over to a bag at the back of the room that's probably about like a duffel size bag, yeah. So you see the body, the bag, and then this key. He's like, yeah. So that's pretty much what fucking happened. It seems pretty cut and dry. I mean, obviously it was a fucking ghost. So,
yes, I was thinking the same thing.
Right next to the fucking cemetery.
Right.
Gotta be a ghost.
Yeah. Did
Captain
you see
doesn't believe it, but
what direction the ghost went in?
Yeah, straight in that fucking wall. He points at the back.
Through the wall.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of like went around a pillar. And then we like broke eyesight. See, that's the thing. That's what will get you in a fucking fight. If you're chasing a bloke down the city, you got to make sure they don't break eyesight, because if they do, they're gone.
You are so right. It's
broke.
very important to look at someone you're fighting.
It is. They can like sometimes. A guy told me this. He was chasing a bloke. He just stole, and he dipped into an alleyway, and he went right over, and he ran right past the guy. Guy was laying on the fucking ground, and he ran right past him. He got up, and then went the other way. It was hilarious.
Yes.
But yeah, he was a murderer. He got away.
What is your name?
My name is Dylan. Dylan was sent in by Ganzak, so thank you,
There you
Ganzak,
go.
for sending in that name. This is Dylan the Guard. My name is Dylan.
Mind if I see that key, Dylan?
You know, of course. And he hands it on over.
Yeah, I would just like to spend some time inspecting that, presumably while other people are doing other things.
Yeah. Give me either a history, an investigation, something like that. Also, what you can do in that time, because you probably haven't seen something like this before, I would say if you have parchment or something, you can like try to sketch it on a paper or something to keep it for later. So you're doing that. What is everyone else doing?
I am going to pick up that bag of bones and hand it off to Theo without even a thought. Like, it's immediate up, over. And then I'm going to move in what I'm actually wanting to do, which is I'm going to walk over to the pillar that the ghost went through and just sort of investigate that whole area and see if I can find tracks or anything that might lead to our hunchbacked killer, so that we can find out where they went next.
Hell yeah. So you pick up the bag, you're carrying it over to Theo, and I guess you kind of walk up, like you're all kind of like in a section. You walk up, and then whatever's in the bag starts moving all of a sudden. It just, and then you
Not for me.
drop the bag, and you see just something sort of like flops out of it, and then just it's moving, and then it just kind of falls apart. And it looked like a pretty big, like bones of like a clawed creature or something like that. You'd have to investigate more or like that kind of stuff, but it looked like this is not what it is, but it's like the bottom part of like a velociraptor's like feet or something like that, if it was just bones.
Do the claws on that thing that just fell out of the bag look like the broken one we got off Krennic?
It does not.
Okay.
Yeah, and who was holding a little ooze ball? Vetra. You felt a little bit of warmth.
I think I gave it back to Winnie.
It's with Team
now.
Captain
Okay.
right now.
Winnie, you felt a little bit of warmth from that little ooze ball when the bones reacted, and then stopped, and then you felt both of them like sort of stop.
Oh, great. All right. I guess is there like a Winnie looks around for like a cleared space where she can kind of set down the ooze ball, kind of like a table where the group
Definitely.
can kind of work.
Yeah, there's a lot of
on-
empty slabs that don't have bodies on them, so you can definitely set up there.
So the bones want something to do with this, or this wants something to do with the bones. So I don't know what that means. Can't be good.
No, can't. Why do you have a smile on your face when you say that?
I mean, it's interesting.
You'll get used to that.
Yeah. Well, clearly, whoever is angry with the veterans is the one who fed the information to Krennic and is using these bones and these ooze eggs to perpetrate monsters with sentient control against veterans of the Great War. Don't know why, don't know where, and don't know how, but we at least have... Can I go up to Dylan real quick? I have a quick question for him. He's so smart, I know he's gonna
He's
knock
just
this one out
he's just
of the
picking his nose. All right, what's up?
park. Dylan, my love, could you
Uh-huh.
put the hand down? Don't eat that. Keep your eyes on... Do not. I have a question for you.
He wipes it on the wall. What do you need?
This city has a lot of refugees, right?
Yeah. Mostly a lot of refugees from Southmore. That's just up north. You guys know
Southmore is
that,
up north.
Yeah.
I
Well,
see.
he's one of the most southernmost city from Tulmore Gain.
Oh,
Used
okay.
to be. He says used to be because you all know that Southmore was the last battle of the war. It was the pretty much the battle that ended the war. I would say, Chandler, you can give me a history check because you're probably the only person that would know more.
That is a natural 20, so a 27 total.
Hot diggity
Team
dog.
captain.
He was there with David.
That's the riddle.
I would say. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
No, that's good though. Yeah, you were there with Davith. The situation that went on in Southmaw was basically they had the dragons on the run, and they had information that the last dragons, or at least the last attacking dragons, were hiding out in Southmaw, which was a city, which was a dragonborn city. Dragonborns were not fighting with the dragons, but apparently some dragons were hiding in a city of dragonborn people. And basically the 13th Battalion, which you were not part of, set up a siege around the city to keep the dragons in, basically. And it was going very poorly. And Davith and some other heroes went off, and when they came back, they pulled back the 13th Battalion, and the city was completely destroyed. Some magical event happened, and it wiped out the entire city to rubble, ruins. And all of the people that were able to escape before the siege happened are now refugees, and their families are gone. And the area where that explosion, if you can call it that, happened is kind of like radioactive magic land right now. Basically, it cannot be settled now. Strange things happen there. The magic has not really receded yet. Sort of similar to an experience that you had, Chandler, in your childhood. And basically, it did end the war, but it was very taboo, and not a lot of people know exactly what happened there. Davith didn't really tell you any details after the decision was made. And yeah, that's what you know. And the 13th Battalion, a lot of people kind of blacklist them from a lot of things.
Earlier that Winnie blanches and stammers for a moment, kind of struggling to find the right words. No one really knows exactly what happened at Southmaw, but
Yeah.
a lot of people died. Like, a lot of them good folks who did nothing wrong and who shouldn't have had collateral damage. I wasn't. It was a mess. It was a nightmare. It ended the war, but I don't know if it was worth it.
He's pretty fucked.
So you're a part of a city that is promised protection by the battalion and the good people of the war, and then abandoned in your final hour to not only lose everything you had, but the very ground you were born on. You're then taken as refugee to a place that associates you immediately with the dragons that hid in your city, and you're expected to behave positively towards its constituents. In my mind, our hunched individual may very well be a refugee of Southmaw. Someone...
Hey, that's pretty
turned-
smart.
Thank you, Dylan. Someone turned against the people who promised to save them. I'd be upset too. I'd be angry. I'd be using my lost city as fuel for the fire, for taking every veteran I saw.
As far as
there is a camp of
Dylan, if you
all the
want, you can take a
refugees
walk.
Okay. I mean, there's also vets there too. They are staying at the Dagger Point, which is just north of here.
Dagger Point. Perfect. Could you go draw me a map? Just a little
Not good at
walking
drawing,
distance?
but I can help.
I believe in you,
Anyone have
Dylan.
any
You go take care
parchment?
of it.
He walks away, looking for parchment.
What do you think, Team Captain?
I mean, you make I like what one. Don't call me that. I do not.
I think
Anyway,
it's
that's-
starting to stick.
Oh gosh. And anyways, Southmont was a mess, and to kind of add insult to injury, the 13th Battalion, they're often used as scapegoats. So you make a compelling argument as to what's going on, and there are a lot of people who do not want these peace talks to be successful.
Right.
So this seems like a good way to sow deceit, or to make people feel nervous, or to make someone feel slighted about something, or to get people talking about Southmaw again, because, I mean, honestly, they should keep talking about it, but maybe not right now. I don't know.
I worry for what bringing this to light will do, too. If we reveal that, and again, this is just conjecture until we know, but if we prove that a refugee did this, this will only incite more rage in response. It will give more people credence to believe that it wasn't right to take them in. But I mean, that's not what we believe. People deserve a place in this world, especially those who have lost theirs.
If that's what we believe might be going on, that it's some kind of misguided or hurt refugee, are we better off just letting all of this go and, I don't know, making up something else, some sort of lie that we could, I don't know, tell your uncle?
Letting all of this
like that.
go to let all the other people die?
No, we would stop it no matter what, but I mean, we could say it was the monster and not the refugee. Avoid spreading political strife across the city and saying that refugees are the enemy. Avoid these peace talks coming to a point where Tor Morgaine is painted as an enemy, a terrorist within the city. If we allow the truth to come to light, if that is the truth, then we're inciting more death if we play this the wrong way. I know what it sounds like, Vetra. It sounds like I'm already lying again, but if we don't paint this the right way, then it could mean war again between two people who are about to sign the biggest peace treaty of our lives.
I need this treaty to go through.
Forgive me for prying, but that sounds personal, Captain.
I mean, it's personal for everyone, right? But I'm from Edoras, one of the nations at the table today. It would mean a lot to see people put down their swords, to know that the people from where I'm from don't have to train anymore. They can just go tend to their sheep and have their quiet lives, and no one has to deal with any of this shit anymore. I'll say whatever I need to say. I think we go keep looking, and then we tell whatever we need to tell. But maybe we don't have to lie at all.
Maybe we're wrong.
Well, there's something that I can do, and you know what I'm talking about. There's something that I can do that it won't give us all the answers, but it might help. But I've already done it once today, so doing it again will hurt me. If I have to choose between using my dagger on the writhing bag of bones and Pete's sister, which one should I choose?
Oh, that is loaded question. Let's see. In my mind, and this may seem selfish, the writhing bag of bones will lead us closer to the target of the man who did this, while Pete's sister may give us some credence to making the families feel better over what's happening. But we were sent for a job, and to me, the shortest line through is by looking at the last thing he touched, or they touched.
What do you think, Vetra?
You've been quiet over there. Upset with us already?
I think we need to stay focused. And I think our priority has to be the bag of bones.
I agree.
All right, I can give it a try. It might be a little bit easier with a full body, but I can try it. I have the dagger. I have the bones, and maybe that'll be enough. Can you still turn around, please?
Of course, we would never think to look without your permission.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that I can trust you. All right. And Theo will take the bag of bones and like spread them out on the floor. And I would like to use Channel the Dead. I know before I've actually like cut into the corpse to kind of like remove the bone, and that's channeling the dead. Can I like score like the bone with the dagger, like dig out marrow or something like that as like an equivalent?
While you're doing that, getting ready to do that, Vetra, what was you were
Yeah, I was looking at the key.
that thing. Can you give me an
I got a
investigation?
15. I got a 15.
Cool. You know that this is definitely, you've never seen this before. This seems to be like new kind of stuff, but you know this is not a key for a door. This is like a key for a mechanism. Someone who knows the city a little bit more, perhaps Dull, perhaps at the tower with more research, you can kind of narrow down like what that would be for. But for now, you know it's for a mechanism, basically.
Okay. Yeah, for the time being, I feel like there are more important things happening, so I'm just going to put that away, and we'll deal with that another time.
And Dull, you were, before the bones happened, you were just kind of looking at the wall, basically.
Yeah, I was
At the
going to
back.
check behind the pillar he was talking about to see if there was a clear exit that the hunchback took.
Okay, give me a perception or investigation or whatever you'd like to do.
Okay. I also think in that time I'll be like asking the guards to leave, because I realize Theo's about to do their thing and and people are still in here.
Some privacy? Alright.
Thank you, Dylan.
Okay, everyone out.
It's as much for you as it is for me, I promise.
What's that supposed to mean?
Don't worry about it.
I have a 16.
Yeah, you're looking around. This seems like a solid building. You don't find any weird secret entrances. You deduce that whoever this was had to have just magically
Teleported or something.
To get out, because there is no secret entrances or exits around here.
Magic is really bare, but the Fangs have sort of seen their fair share of it. Do I know if teleportation is something that is tangible, that is real, that someone has found out yet, or would that be brand new?
I'll say that maybe you guys don't have that spell specifically or something, but you know that is definitely tangible and possible.
Okay.
And unlike, honestly, looking at magic, I mean, it's kind of right now with this sort of almost like new age of magic. It's almost like anything is possible.
Right.
So it's like every time you hear about a new thing, you're like, wow, I didn't think they could do that, but that's crazy. So every time you learn this new thing, you're like, wow, is there anything it can't do?
Yeah.
I think Winnie had some things she wanted to check in on with this ball of ooze, take some time to poke at it a little bit more and to potentially try to destroy it, but she's kind of worked up, and I think just kind of walks to the side of the room and kind of turns for Theo, and this time doesn't pull out the mirror and is just kind of ready to just take a breath and rest.
Okay. Theo, you take out this dagger, and in the description of it is every time you use it past the once a day, it decreases your HP total by how much?
By 5.
By 5. So you are going to do that. It's like you jab the dagger into the bone after setting this up for about a minute, and you feel the strain from like your soul basically. But as the knife hits the bone, I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Before I do that, like having seen Winnie put away her mirror and having Dole, so far as I know, be honest with me, is it okay if I turn around and say,
yeah,
if you like, you can watch? And I'll make my Constitution check. That is a 15.
I would just like to note that with permission, Vetra is watching, but only to stop Theo if something like Vetra doesn't know, like, but Theo said, "Oh, it'll hurt me." So if something's like seriously going wrong, Vetra is gonna stop her.
Okay.
I think I'll turn around as well and stand between Winnie and Vetra, sort of understanding that there's this new respect between the four of us, and this conversation getting as heavy as it was, Dull is realizing that there is an attachment formed in how all of us reacted to the spark that may have been made here. And so in that same defensive manner, he's just sort of standing between, watching, accepting, and trying to embrace this new ceremony.
And Winnie will turn and flash Theo a kind smile and watch, but without her book open, and she doesn't take any notes.
And I'll say, I'm sorry if this doesn't go the way I planned. It's easier when they're a little bit fresher.
You're gonna
and I
be
will
amazed.
dig in.
You got this.
And with this sweet moment, as soon as the blade hits the bone, and what did you roll for your con save?
15.
Immediately, just a rush of magic comes out of this bone, and it deals you 14 damage right out of the bat. This torrent of magic, it's kind of like a wind is swirling around you as soon as you plunge this blade into it, and you feel your soul, you are being ripped to a different place, a place you have never been before. And this all happens within a split second, and you open your eyes in a sea of fire all around you. This is not the battlefield that you went to before, and there are wings and dragons everywhere, and you can see this city of rubble and this city, and it, instead of being able to ask questions like you normally are, you just get a vision, and you see this city all constructed, these wonderful buildings, and you see all these dragons around waiting, and a single person steps into the center of this city, puts their hands out, and a blinding white light erupts, and you come back to out of this vision, knowing that whatever that was destroyed the city, killing all of these dragons, and you fall to the floor.
I'm immediately rushing. I mean, it all happened in a split second,
Yeah,
so I think that was
really
the
pull her off, and is what ends this vision. Theo, you know that You have never attempted to do that with non-humans or humanoid people before, and obviously it did not go well when you tried. Winnie, you can give me just a nature or history check real quick.
19 for history.
Dragons are made of pure magic, and Theo dug a dagger into a dragon bone just now and basically just got shot with just unimaginable waves of magic. And Theo, I think you were about to say something.
Oh, I'm fine. I feel fine. Everything's okay. I think that might have been a dragon bone. Did everybody else hear what I heard like before, or
Why would he bring dragon bones in here?
Dull is very confused for the circumstance of this and has no idea how to help, so he just kicks the bones out of the fucking way, thinking that's going to do anything. What do we do? Is there anything we could do?
I don't know. I wasn't able to ask questions this time. I just saw someone in a city that was damned and dragon fire everywhere. I didn't see any sort of creature. I couldn't ask it questions. There was nothing that I could do this time. It's never been like that before.
Did you tell what they look like? What did they do? What was it like?
All you could see was the robes of the person, and the description matches the same description of the person from your past, Winnie.
Bones from before it reacted to the egg, right? It jangled in the direction of what you carried? Winnie, could that be a dragon egg?
I hope not.
I'm gonna throw these dice.
It's that bad, huh?
Very early for
God.
dice jail.
Take that, Adam. What did I tell you at the beginning of this game? I'm not gonna let you do it to us.
It's bullshit!
Amazing.